Good morning. Market Day Report. I'm Tony St. James. We have Tommy Grisafi waiting in the wings. We're going to talk China. We're going to talk crude oil and a little more. But first, let's talk corn. As corn is trading this morning in Chicago, markets are open, 413 3/4. Trading now 413 3/4, just less than a penny off the day's low. It's a penny and a half lower on this session. Corn export numbers, marketing year low for the sales and a marketing year high for the actual shipments. How about soybeans? Well, a good number, 1.5 million metric tons, more than 50% of that to China. 10.57 on the board for November. That's up 3 3/4 cents, now 4 cents higher across the board for beans. What about wheat? Marketing year low for sales, but a marketing year high for shipments. Chicago, December 5.92, up 2 3/4. July 6.26, that's up 2 3/4 cents. Hard red, 6.5 higher. Front month 5.87.5. And July at 6.15.5, up 6 3/4. Spring wheat, penny and a half higher on the D's at 6.18.5. And for cotton, 87,800 running bells sold, 79,500 actually shipped. All those numbers lower from last week and lower than the 4-week average. December trade 73.87. That's 67 points higher, could be related to weather concerns in the southeast. And one more market, crude oil. We're seeing a sell-off here as we start the morning. November at 66.98, down 271, and it's a great place to bring in Tommy Grisafi with Advanced Trading. Tommy, what's happening with the crude oil market?
So many things going on overnight on this quote board. Crude oil down 270, 66.98. Unbelievable. News with OPEC and Russia. As we all know, none of our clients produce crude oil. It's a club. It's a mafia. It's literally, as an Italian guy telling you, it's a mafia, and it's not controlled by us. But the mafia is going to produce a lot more oil, and so you're seeing crude oil down 270. I would think that would affect other markets here, looking at corn and soybean oil and anything that's energy related. This is an absolute gift for the American farmer, someone who needs to go get their energy needs met. We will probably see the White House try to reload on the strategic oil reserve, but they also have a motivation to let crude oil just fall. As you know, Tony, we have an election here in the next 30, 40 days, and when people see the stock market at all-time highs, and if we could get gas down to 250, that'd be, everyone said, you know what, things aren't that bad. They would have to have amnesia and not remember what happened last 3-4 years to their health insurance and every other expense. I don't know about you, but when I go down to Nashville, things sure feel expensive. But when you look at the overall markets, so much volatility overnight. You had China release another stimulus bomb. They're just making access to cash so much easier, and it's having a huge effect. Again, beans were up 10 cents overnight. They've calmed down, but you're just seeing these markets move. When I wake up and I see NASDAQ up 350, crude down 250, beans up again over $1.10 off their lows from just a month ago, you got to scratch your head and say what's going on. We top it off with the cherry on top. Gold hit 27.08 last night, $2,700 for an ounce of gold. It's since calmed down a little bit. As you know, my friend, these markets are absolutely on fire. And I think you'll hear our good friend Cow Guy talk about how not only the Chinese rate cut, but the American rate cut is spurring inflation. I hand it back to you. I miss seeing your pretty face, though. I can't see you, and it's really driving me. I just miss you, Tony.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a face for radio. And I guess I've got to be proud of that. But we're glad you're there. You mentioned gold. Up 42.9% year over year. Silver is up nearly 44%. Copper up 24%. You mentioned West Texas Intermediate. It's down year over year 25%. But already this week, and this was a topic on the radio show yesterday, why do we continue to see West Texas Intermediate crude prices coming down when our supplies are tightening up. And you touched on one of the reasons, possibly strategic reserve, as the Department of Energy looking to fill, I believe, 6 million barrels back into that. We'll take a break, come back and talk livestock futures with the handsome Tommy Grisafi. Market Day Report continues in a moment. Weekly export sales report out at 7:30 Central this morning. It was a disappointing report for beef, and we're seeing it spill over now into the market. Let's go live cattle futures. Chicago down 85 on the front month at 182.20. December 107 lower at 183.25. It was 10,100 metric tons sold and 12,500 metric tons actually shipped. For the sales, that's 35% lower than last week, 34% off the 4-week average. For the actual shipments, 24% lower week over week, down 14% from the 4-week average. Not a whole lot better for the hogs. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But feeder cattle prices here this morning, $1.92 lower on the most active October at $244.17, $1.72 lower on the November. Now over to hogs. We get the quarterly hogs and pigs report out this afternoon. But shipments for pork down 11% from the previous week, 3% off of the 4-week average. The sales down 3%. 8% off of the 4-week average. We're 60 lower now on hogs, October 81.87. Let's bring back in Tommy Grisafi with advanced trading. What sticks out?
Well, we had an incredible run in cattle, and hogs have done well also. You know, farmers were starting to be nervous to be hedged, so I talked to some clients who were like, I don't know if I should be hedged in cattle. They seem like they're never going to go down. I said, that's just another reason to stay hedged. They're, people have to make big decisions, Tony. Go buy the new iPhone 16 or go have a steak, and there's just not enough money for all of it. This economy is wild, and we talk about it on the financial shows all the time. Yes, the stock market's at all-time highs, but 85% of the stocks are owned by 15% of people. The average working people, the price of beef is so expensive. I buy beef from friends and family and clients here, and it's the best beef in the world. I just got a half a steer from South Dakota, but it's expensive. To buy the beef from the rancher, to have it processed, it's worth it. I think everyone should go do it, but not everyone could afford it, Tony, and you're starting to see that reflected. So, yes, stock markets are at all-time highs, but cattle cannot keep up this slope and this intensity of the rally. They're giving some back today.
And when we think of the consumer, we get personal consumption expenditures, or PCE, that comes out tomorrow. And with a lower dollar means that things that might have been cheaper produced in China or somewhere else become a little more expensive. Tommy Grisafi's with Advanced Trading and joining us this morning.